You probably clicked on this video because you were interested in finding a D&D game. That or you just liked the thumbnail. There are lots of ways to connect and find tabletop groups online nowadays, free or paid. Personally, I have gotten to play with a few groups online and have had great experiences.
So, what's this video about, Queenie? Why the fuck you keep rambling?
I was getting to it. I have DM'd for over 10 years now for my friends, and sometimes a plus one that I don't really know as well. I have taught the game to new players several times, mostly because I dragged my friends into the hobby. But that's not on me, they got bigger dice boards than me now, so obviously they enjoyed it. But now, after years of experience, something I wanted to try was paid DMing. Wait, please don't go. In all the hobbies and things I provide online, I always try to keep my things affordable and something I'd actually pay for myself. You can see this in my art commissions and my Etsy. There are benefits to paying for a DM, rather than having your friends do it, or finding someone online willing to do it for free. But that doesn't mean you have to pay someone to DM for you. I'd really appreciate it if you wanted to join my games, but I understand if it's not for you. You can entirely enjoy playing for free with a DM and having a good experience. And I understand if that's what you prefer to do, or if it's just out of budget to pay a DM. But there are benefits again. And I can't speak for all pro DMs out there. But I do want to explain what I provide. I have 10 plus years of experience DMing. I started in high school, and while those games were awful back then, I have learned a great deal. I love to craft homebrew worlds that are fun to explore and take into account the player's backstory so I can intertwine them into the story. Character arcs are always so much fun, and you can expect it from a paid game from me that you will share the spotlight with your fellow players, and all the players at the table will be the main characters of the story. On the battle maps I use, I provide dynamic lighting via Roll20 with tactical fun combats, which are never just thrown in there to take up time. Every combat I run is important to the story. And while I do like to challenge players, I never want combat to feel hopeless to a player. But never easy either. I want it to be something that you defeat and feel like you have overcome that fight and the whole table cheers. I have a great deal of safety tools with players to be sure everyone is having a safe and comfortable time in the game. I use what I call consent sheets, which is my version of lines and veils, where you will fill out what you feel comfortable with seeing at the table. And then on top of that, I have my timeout rule, where even if you did not include it on your consent sheet and something is making you uncomfortable mid-session, you can time out and voice that, and I will stray away from it at the table and write it out. And last but not least, when you pay a DM, you can almost guarantee they will show up for each session on time every week. I can't guarantee it for all pro DMs, but for me personally, I would show up on time without last-minute cancellations. I am human though, so if I have to cancel due to emergencies, I would tell you. But it would be extremely rare. And that's just some of what I can provide. I like to dedicate probably way too much time into my world building and plots, because I want to make sure players feel excited and happy about what they're playing. Tools I will be using. I would be running D&D 5.5 edition.
But Queenie, you said you play Pathfinder in your home games.
I do, but I'm not as confident running the rules for Pathfinder as I am with D&D. The flow for Pathfinder rules has always been a bit chunky for me, while D&D, I am far more confident making it flow easier. And with something I'm providing as a service, I don't want it to feel clunky and that most time is spent looking at the rules, which is why I'm doing D&D 5.5 edition. And maybe I will offer Pathfinder 1st edition games eventually, but for now I'm not going to. Roll20 will be used for my maps and dice. I have a pro subscription, which I do have to thank my cousin for because he has been paying for it so that I can have dynamic lighting on the maps. This means everything I run has the fun lighting effects that I really adore working with. They add so much to exploration. I also have just the basic understandings of Roll20, so there will be handouts to read, character sheets there, and other things we use Roll20 for, like the text chat where I like people to throw their rolls in to save the flow of speed. Though I do have to admit, I have never used Roll20 voice chat before. My party always used Discord for VCs. I plan on having each campaign I run having its own Discord and chat. This is so players can connect with each other outside the game if they so desire. It's not required. But then also so those side conversations can happen in a text channel and not be distracting or in the way. You can still have conversations if everyone at the table is okay with it. But when you would whisper during combat to the person sitting next to you, it doesn't really work out in a voice chat, which is why I like having the text chat. It's there so you can just quote unquote whisper that player that silly thing where you're like, oh, he hit that guy and I have a stupid joke for it, but it'd be distracting. I like to still include that because the still part of the fun of D&D is talking and being goofy with the fellow people at the table. I go over my safety stuff more in my Discord and on my Blue Sky and on the actual Roll20 post. And you can even read more of my Roll20 profile if you so desire to get to know me a little bit more. And I never mind talking in my Discords, and I'm pretty open about who I am on my Twitch streams if you've ever made it to one of those. And I will answer any questions anyone has about what I provide. I'm a pretty open, friendly person. There's more information on the Roll20 page of the actual campaign, and if you're interested, I would really appreciate you checking it out. The player process. If you are interested, the process for becoming a player is to hit me up. You can either comment here and I'll direct you to a way of contacting me, or you can find my Blue Sky and DM me there. You can DM me on Roll20, or you can find my Discord and DM me there, and I will guide you through the steps. And then, as I mentioned, my campaigns are a paid experience. Payment information I did put at the end because I figured anyone who wasn't interested at this point would click off the video. But I do appreciate if you wanted to share the video to someone who is interested before you click off. Thank you. The payment is $5 an hour for your seat. You only have to pay for yourself. Typically, sessions run 3 hours, so that's an expected $15. But if the whole party unanimously agrees, it can run an hour or two longer, but it has to be unanimous. I will always ask and be like, do you guys want to pay for another hour? And if not everyone's okay, I'm not going to force someone to pay for another hour that might not be in their budget. I think that's everything I wanted to discuss. If you're interested, you can contact me either leaving a comment below, DMing my Blue Sky or my Discord, or leaving a message on the Roll20. I plan on starting with one campaign and seeing how well it goes, but then I'll likely open the door to more campaigns. Those that followed me and caught my streams know I have health issues. I have talked about it a few times. And anyone who's read the Discord or the Blue Sky know the reason I'm looking into pro DMing is because I have poor health, and my state is going to start requiring me to make a certain amount to keep my Medicaid. I'm trying to get diagnosed with my doctor, and maybe I can eventually get disability, but it's been a struggle too. I'm hoping pro DMing could be a side gig I can do if there's enough interest in being a player for me. Because I know a few of my chatters have mentioned wanting me to run games, but I never mentioned possibly having it paid for. It was supposed to be silly one-shots, but maybe there's enough interest that I can do this. If it works out super well and there's a lot of traction, I'll host a few different D&D games, and hopefully that can get me to the required money to keep my Medicaid. I would also put the money back in towards trying to make the experience worth the payment, but if it doesn't work out, worst case I say is that I tried. The hope is it's at least enough that it can be a side gig and I can go back to that coffee shop that was pretty accommodating for my health, but I'll see how that goes down. Last time I worked there, even though they were accommodating, it wore me out. I don't have a ton of spoons in the day. When I go out of the house, I really need a remote job. And if you read the Discord and Blue Sky, I opened up that I have applying for the past 6 months every week, at least 3 times a week, to remote jobs, and nothing is getting back to me. I live in the country and I can't walk to work, which would be a great option for me, but it's not an option. So I'm giving this a shot. I really would love it if this did kick up and I was able to do it at least as a side gig. Just because I do understand it would be work. I would be putting in hours to make sure it is good for you. But it would be something I'm capable of doing. I am a creative person. I have full confidence I could make this enjoyable for people. And that would be the goal, is making sure you're getting your money's worth, as is with my art commissions even. I also might put my art commissions on sale. I haven't decided how I'm going to go about that yet. I wrote a script for this video. This last bit has been me rambling, and it's probably the longest. But I did want to point out that in the script I have a little heart emoji. There was no way of me saying that. I don't know why it was in the script. I don't know why. I put a heart emoji. I just thought it was a funny little bit for those who do make it to the end of the video. And I appreciate you for making it to the end of the video. Thanks for listening to my ramble. Thanks for being here. If you could share this video, like it, promote it, whatever you do for YouTube videos, I would appreciate it. I don't usually say that because I don't usually focus on trying to grow. I just make silly jokes and I'm just a little goblin on the internet. But I am trying to advertise what I do more, and hopefully I can do enough side gigs that I don't have to push my health, but we'll see. And I am going to talk to my doctor about more options. I've already been talking to her, but we'll see how it goes. My state kind of fucking hates disabled people, and I'm working on it. Thanks! I hope it wasn't too much of a bummer at the end of the video. I was trying to keep it light. Bye!